Greetings from the right coast. This is Mad Shad coming to you from an undisclosed location. What are we going to talk about today? Well, I don't know. I was thinking reach and advantage. That's the thing that popped in my head. Reach and advantage. I don't know. How to stay on point. As preppers, we do the 7 P's. Piss poor planning produces piss poor production. And we get everything that we think we're going to need later on down the road. We're actually traveling in time with our head, to foresee that instance where we might need something. We might need food, water, shelter, tools, beans, bullets, band-aids, things of that nature. So, reach an advantage. You have to think, what is your reach? How far can you look ahead, and how good can you advantage that situation to your benefit? The best way is with skill set and with the right tool for the job. And knowing how to use said tool. But hey, if you don't have that tool, then gotta make do with what you got. That's why I like bushcraft and stuff like that. Even arts and crafts. You get to create something out of nothing. It's pretty cool. If anybody's got the artistic thing in them, you'll know that it's you're able to create, through drawing, through sculpture, through baking, through cooking, making stuff, It all kind of coincides with prepping. But make no mistake that you're not just going to. Some people are like that. Some people can just go, I'm just gonna take this little knife. I'm gonna go into the woods. I'll be fine. Who knows? Maybe you can. I've watched videos of people doing it. It's pretty cool. We used to mess around like that in the Boy Scouts, and we would talk about things like that. But bushcraft, that's cool. Having an edge in life is great. Being able to advantage your situation, better your situation, where you will be better for it in the long run. Reach an advantage for me. I like to be able to see the future, plan, prep, and prepare for it, and go from there. And whatever the contingency may be, it's very simple for me. Social unrest, complete lack of rule of law, or natural disaster. Do I bunker in or do I head out? That depends on the situation and the scenario, the problem that I'm faced with. Having that training, having that option, gives you that advantage. And so now you got to have the reach. And the reach gives you safety, and security, and the ability to reach out and meet that threat. We've known this for a very, very, very long time. Us being clever-minded little, monkeys, hairless monkeys, we figured that shit out. We made bows and arrows, we made pointed sticks, we threw rocks, and we made spears. Basically, it's a knife on a stick, or a very pointy stick, or a stick with a rock on it. A very, very effective weapon. Very effective. Matter of fact, in the medieval times during war, it was the king of weapons. And I'm not talking about the kind that you throw, but those work good too. The Romans used that to their advantage. They would take they made a spear that, when thrown, it broke once it hit the target. Shouldn't have done that. It's feeling a little better, but and you couldn't throw it back. But a lot of spears, a lot of polearms were made for multiple use. I don't want to take this monster of a thing and throw it. I want to stabby, keep my distance, get some reach, and have that advantage. It allows me to be at a safe distance away and still alleviate the threat and still have my weapon. Spears are cool. Throwing spears, javelins, yeah, that's pretty cool. But and that same spear reach and advantage goes into the whole military thing too, and tactics. Are you the tip of the spear, edge of the empire? I remember that's what our CO used to call our company. I'm like, whatever, dude. Cold Steel Charlie, tip of the spear, edge of the empire. Okay. Yeah. They get colorful sometimes. Get a little imaginative. But with a spear, there's no imagination required. Well, you can't see it, but yeah. It's very pointy. It's very sharp. And it's just something I made. I like making shit like this. Yeah, I like to put my little runes on there. This one, this one says, Odin o Yadir Allah. Odin owns you all. And of course, this is supposed to be the signal for Gungnir. So Odin had a spear. And if thrown, it would carry forward unimpeded and hit its target. I've named a lot of my weapons that way too. I've got Gungnir on my shotgun. Weapon that never misses. But the spear, I can really get out there and touch someone. And this is a good defense as well. I have to be careful about good defense for other weapons, swords, axes. You're not going to cut through this. The idea of taking a sword and going shing. No, it's not going to happen that way. Unless you've got balsa wood, but it's not going to happen. But I was also in hunting. Spears were used in hunting. You want to kill a bear? You don't do it out in the open. No, you can. You've got your pew-pews that can reach out and touch them. But they would take a spear or 3 or 4 spears and go into a cave. Get him. Go into the cave with spears, and there you go. Pin the bear down and let him bleed out. That's how we learn how to do that. Bison. woolly mammoth, all taken down by the spear. Having that spear mentality, having that reach and that advantage. You could arguably say that that's what evolved our kinetic weapons, if you will. We figured out how to make a repeater bow and arrow, a repeating projectile weapon, where we had a lot of reach. More reach than you could get with a bow and arrow, more reach than you can get with a spear. We're always about reach and advantage. And you also have to think about what vector are you in for somebody else's reach and advantage. We see a lot of that now. There's a lot of posturing, a lot of movement, and the high ground, the low ground, the flanking. We're getting a lot of that. Even infiltrating into groups. We got hacked. We got one of the biggest hacks that's been going on. They hacked everything. They infiltrated. They used their reach and advantage, to get the better hand on it, get the higher ground on us. I don't get too much worried. Yeah, the only thing I really worry about is unleashing hell upon this world, upon this earth, in the form of just pure freaking unadulterated violence against each other and its fellow man. I'm a peaceful man, really, I am. I like compassion and I like to say that my philosophy is patience, tolerance, and humility, mercy, compassion, understanding, and tolerance. If that doesn't work, kick their ass. Patience, tolerance, humility. Yeah. So, and you can still do that compassionately. But when you're talking life-ending wounds, there's no turning back from that. And it's kind of like in school when you would see some little kid just taunting some big monstrous kid, some freaking man-child. I've seen the video. Little scrawny kid is making fun of this. The smaller kid is probably about 3 foot tall, and the big kid is about 5 foot tall, with arms bigger than his head. And the little kid is just taunting him, smacking him, throwing things at him, calling him all kinds of names, And finally, the big kid goes, just like Hulk does, just effortlessly. And the little guy's like, yeah, you just got slammed around. You just got tossed like a rag doll, son. It's and it does do something to you. Going there are some that want some armed conflict. I mean, I don't want to touch on that. When the 2-ray range opens up and everything's fair game, it's not going to bide well. It's not going to go well for the ones that antagonize. Don't poke the bear. Unless you got a spear. And that's no guarantee. Bears have been known to take horrendous freaking damage and still be a killer. Hunt you to the ends of the earth before they bleed out. There's some, whatever. We have perfected the projectile weapon to the point where I've never seen a bear hit by a 50 cal, but I'm sure it's not a good thing for the bear. But once we do that, I think, especially for this country, we have crossed a line. Can we come back from that? I mean, can we come back from being on edge? Will we ever trust anyone after that? And will it just be easier to kill each other? I mean, we see a lot of, the crime rate has went up, 500 freaking percent in a lot of places. Here, it's not so much. Yeah, it is. Yeah. There's a lot more crime. Desperate times make desperate men, desperate people. And also opportunist. I don't know. You get this air. This air comes out. Something in the air, especially with the young folks. Oh yeah, let's go. Let's rampage. Rah. You got to fight that urge, man. You got to fight that urge. And you got to be wary of that coming towards you. But with that being said, we're preppers, right? So we know how to advantage the situation to our favor. That's why we prep. A certain thing called emptiness and fullness. Sun Tzu, I know, right? He talks of emptiness and fullness. Emptiness and fullness is you're sitting on a mountain, on a high elevated position, well fed, warm. Say it's winter. Say it's now. You're well fed, your garrison, your troops are chilling. Everybody's got well oiled and sharp weapons, and they're in good health and good morals, basically like you've been living on any kind of base. PT every day, got ample amount of food and water. Nobody's hurt. Nobody's, everybody's at the top of their game. Physical fitness and morale is great because you're on top of a mountain and you've got the higher ground and the advantage. So, you get word that your enemy is coming. They're about 50 miles away. They outnumber you 10 to 1. Okay. And they are running as fast as they can to get to you from 50 miles away. And once they get to you, now they got to go up the mountain, fighting their way up as you're just like casually throwing things down at them. Probably laughing and drinking something. That was a good one. Yeah, good job. Yeah. High five. And so the advantage they had gets lost rather quickly. And not only that is once they get to you, they're freaking tired. They're fatigued. Ugh. They got no food, no water. They ate all that and they drank all that. Or they had to carry it to fatigue themselves even more. And you're just sitting back there just picking your teeth because you just ate, some great stew and, just had a good night's sleep. These guys have been traveling all day and night to get to you. 50 miles, that's not really that far, but they didn't sleep. They just kept coming. They lost a good night's sleep. You posted Firewatch and went to bed. So, the enemy coming towards you has emptiness, while as you're sitting on top of your mountain with all your food, your water, and your well-rested veteran troops, you have the fullness. you can apply that to just about anything. Always have that position of power, and if you don't have the position of power, then advantage or lie. Remember, there was a Civil War general. He won a battle. His motto was "Get there the firstest with the mostest," and he knew he was coming up on a battle on the battlefield. He knew that the enemy had more troops than him. So what he did is there was a ridge line, and he kept taking his. He pulled up his cannons first. That's what you usually do, I guess. You pulled up your cannons first. He probably maybe had 20, I don't know, 15 cannons. He didn't have a lot of cannons, I forgot what they're called, 9-pounders, 8-pounders, well, whatever, 3-pounders. I don't know, And so he's moving them up and he's setting them up. And what he did is he would go on top of the ridge. Now the enemy's watching. The enemy's watching all this. He would go on top of the ridge, keep going, and then go back down the ridge where they couldn't see him, and then just keep this parade, this procession of cannons. And the enemy general's like, my God, what's he got, 200 cannons? We can't. Oh, we're out of here. And that's when he said, now's my time to strike. So he would chase them down. He would rout the enemy. And he had the disadvantage as far as troops. He got there. They were tired. They've been running as fast as they could to get there. And as soon as they got there, they did this whole freaking circle jerk procession, showing off their fake numbers. And the enemy is like, fuck this, we're out of here. And so he's like, okay, charge. And as the enemy was backing up, he had the edge and the advantage and routed them and just decimated their numbers. And he was the inferior force. But a lot of there's a lot, we're running out of time. I'm not going to go into another one. But a lot of that has happened throughout history, Chess, the Sicilian defense, they were faced with a massive pirate army of the Moors. And Sicily had this huge cliff-like Bastiglia fortress. And from there, they could launch their attacks from, and try to take out the ships and whatever. Wasn't a lot, and then they took the rest of their little fleet and pulled it around the side, just a small bit of fleet, and they flanked as they had a base of fire and a flanking maneuver, and that's how they won. They lost a lot of they completely lost all their ships, and the Bastiglia was destroyed, but the Moors were destroyed as well. And they had a massive amount of fleet. They had a massive freaking pirate army, if you will. Sicilians, man, they've been conquered by everybody, but they fought. They've been fighting forever. So yeah, reach and advantage. Think about it in your daily life. What kind of reach do you have in your financials? Kind of advantage do you have? Do you have the advantage of mobility? Do you have the advantage of bushcraft? Do you have the advantage? What is your medics? What is your reach when it? We obviously think, what is your reach as far as how far can you shoot? How far can you engage targets? How far can you get from your area and still be viable and ready to go? Good to go. Keep your fullness, so to speak. So, little reach and advantage. How does that? How can you? how can you use that reach and advantage in your relationships? Do you have that reach and advantage, strength in numbers that each and every one of you can, add to the edge, reach and advantage of the group? If not, then you don't have the tip of the spear, the edge of the empire. You don't have a spear. You have, I don't know, something else. A water gun, a water pistol. Just something to think about. I just, because I seen this thing. I was like, wow, I haven't played with it in a while. And how do you use that reach and advantage? How do you? Is it easier for you to wield that thing? If it's unwielding, that thing is borderline unwielding. I mean, I'm not Jet Li with it, but whatever. I've got some smaller ones. Had some smaller ones, lighter ones. Definitely can't throw it. It's not made for throwing. I really like the sort of a spear, the Code Steel Asinje. It wobbles in flight, like the African spear thing. I like the Viking spear because you could throw it or pole arm it. The Cold Steel boar spear, I think, would. Oh man, I would love to have that thing. A nice old hardwood handle. But I've made spears out of sharp pieces of metal and fishing cane poles, and was able to throw those a country mile. Those are fun. It's like a very big, very adult game of yard darts. Yard darts. Ooh. I always wanted to put one in a gun or something. Like make a yard dart gun. Anyway, I'm sure somebody has. I have to check that out. Anyway, reach and advantage. And think about who has the reach and advantage on you. We can name a few, can't we? Especially in this day and age. But I think that's a very important thing to talk about, to discuss, and to think about. I mean, mostly that's why I do, is I just want to promote, some thinking here. I only got 2 brain cells. And I listen to their arguments and go, all right, yeah, all right, cool. But just something to think about. It's Mad Shad, signing out.